Ever wondered how safe your online activities really are? How secure is your digital footprint? In the vast realm of the internet, privacy and security are paramount. Without adequate protection, your personal data might be at risk. There are solutions to these issues, and today we're going to talk about two of them. Introducing Liberty laptops from CALIX Solutions. These cutting-edge devices are meticulously designed to bolster online privacy, providing you the liberty to surf the internet incognito. The World Wide Web can be a wild frontier, but with Liberty laptops, your online privacy is always protected. We also present you crypto laptops, designed with cryptocurrency users in mind. Equipped to support a myriad of wallets and exchanges, these laptops are tailored for seamless cryptocurrency transactions. They offer enhanced security protocols to keep your digital assets safe. Crypto laptops ensures a secure and smooth cryptocurrency experience. It's time to take control of your online privacy and security. Venture over to CALIX Solutions and explore our Liberty laptops and crypto laptops. Don't forget, our affiliate program lets you earn $50 per sale. Visit calixsolutions.io now or call 7028458276 for more information, because your online safety is our priority.
When you wish upon a star, it makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in a dream, then no request is too extreme. When you wish upon a star, as dreamers do, fate is kind. She brings to those who love the sweet fulfillment of their secret longings, and like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. I know you, I walked with you once upon a dream. I know you, that gleam in your eyes is so familiar a gleam, yet I know it's true that visions are seldom all they seem. But if I know you, I know what you'll do. You'll love me at once the way you did once upon a dream. But if I know you, I know what you'll do. You'll love me at once the way you did once upon a dream. Is a wish your heart makes when you're fast asleep. In dreams you will lose your heartache. Whatever you wish for, you keep. So have faith in your dreams, and someday your rainbow will come smiling through. No matter how your heart is grieving, if you keep on believing the dream that you wish will come true, no matter how your heart is grieving. If you keep on believing the dream that you wish will come true. And like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. When you wish upon the star, your dreams come true. Your dreams come true.
Thank you. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Women's Voices. I am Clara Bose, and I am so excited to bring our guest today, my friend from Las Vegas, Kim Couture. Welcome, former MMA fighter. She is a truth warrior, a fierce fighter in every way that the word can be used. She just has this strength that I literally will keep feeling her spirit of courage and her fierce vision for the world to have knowledge for days after I hang out with her. So I am blessed to have her on our show today. Thank you, Kim, for joining us. You look gorgeous.
Thank you. And I love to play.
Oh, thank you. Well, some of you watching may know that years ago, I played for about a 7-year block of my life. I lived on Disney cruise ships. I literally lived out at sea with the fairies and the pirates, and it was really a perfect environment for me. I was so honored, and I was so blessed, and I felt so lucky to be a part of the Disney team. I felt kind of like an evangelist for Disney. I mean, everywhere I went, I was just so happy and proud to say, that I worked for Disney, and I just thought it was the best company, and that it was just, so much artistry and integrity. We all had to really present our best and have a wonderful high standard for service that really was at the top of the field in terms of entertainment and in terms of service quality. And when I met my husband on board the Disney Magic, I left that world behind and we started a family together, and I became a mom overnight and got married 6 months later. And it was truly a Disney fairy tale dream because he came out sailing and I met my true love. And so that was a wonderful sort of happy ending for me. And as I got into real life, we lived in Las Vegas, and that was like, you can imagine, night and day difference. It went from people being paid basically to be nice to you to people cursing at you as you're driving and flipping you off. And I was like crying as I would drive around because it was like such a difference from the Disney bubble that I had been in for so long. But I was driving in my convertible car, and like they threw water at me. They were mad at me. And I was like, oh my gosh, this world is so harsh. But a friend of Jay's was Kim, and she had been an MMA fighter. And he was like, you should really get together with her. I think you guys are going to hit it off. And of course, he was right. She became a fast friend of mine, and she would come over and tell me things that she had been researching about. And one of those things was the dark side of Disney. And to be honest with you guys, I was open to it, but I had been so indoctrinated in the world of Disney that I was like, certainly this cannot be true. And it probably took me at least a year to fully be able to listen to some of the things that she was talking about. So if this is the first time you've heard any of this stuff, please bear with us. I know how you feel, but if you're a truth seeker and you just want to know what's really going on in the world like I do, well, we have a show for you today. So without further ado, I want to talk to you a little bit about, do you remember any of the first things that you brought to me about what the truth is about Disney?
Yeah, and I don't think you were breathing the whole time I was talking. I think I put her in shock.
Literally.
It's so outrageous. And like the saying goes, truth is stranger than fiction. It's easier for people to believe the fairy tales, believe the lies, because all of us, I believe, have a good heart and we want so badly. We grow up watching those, wanting to believe that it's true. And the world is a very evil place. And it seems like the good ones are the minority. It's so dark and so devastating that for a long time I couldn't even sleep at night. And they do say that people that know all the truths don't sleep anymore, because at the end of the day, it's still happening and these children are helpless and they need our help. So how is anybody, any parent or any like living, breathing soul able to sleep knowing that all of these horrendous things are going on with these children? And I remember telling you basically that I didn't like Disney. How dare I say that to someone like you, right? And I wasn't ever really big into it. I had bought all the VHS for my kids. They had the whole collection. And I took them out there once. But I remember just feeling like almost like it was too good to be true. And then I started reading how if you would see a single man walking with two little girls in matching yellow Disney princess dresses, that meant that those girls were for sale. And that's an underground known thing for pedophiles. If they want to pick up a child, they go to Disney and look for the men that are clearly not looking for their spouse or their family members, but walking around with two little girls with matching yellow Disney dresses on. And then there was the 33 Club, the VIP club. And that's not exclusive to VIPs. It's exclusive to VIP pedophiles, basically, because the things that go on in that club are them entertaining children for, obviously not good reasons. So just the deeper you go and keep digging on this, the more you're going to find. I think I told you about adrenochrome.
Oh my gosh. That is what will give you nightmares if you know anything about that. I mean, that's like beyond comprehension.
And it's the sale of adrenochrome is the largest business in the world. So if something is the largest business in the world, how do we not know about it? If you were to ask 10 people, what's the largest business in the world? 10 people are going to give you an answer and none of them are going to be adrenochrome.
Never. Even me. I mean, I probably tried to block it from my mind since I learned about it. That wouldn't be the first thing that I would hear of. Although I do know that in the United States, trafficking is our biggest industry, they say.
You know what I watched?
Well, that we're the number one. Maybe it's not that it's the number one. Maybe it's that the United States is the number one
of child
consumer of child trafficking, which is just very disappointing as an American, to say the least.
So last night, coincidentally, I was looking for something to watch, and I remember hearing this story. Remember Jared, the subway guy?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, so everybody got to know who Jared was, right? Well, when the story broke about them arresting him, sending him to prison for pedophilia, child porn, not just consuming it, but his best friend and him were making the content. I didn't know all the details, so I watched the show. There's a show out right now, documentary on it, and it just goes to show you how everybody invited this guy into every school across the country to speak with these children. He went to Disney. He did all the subway promotions, all the commercials. He was with celebrities. He was everywhere. He was at Super Bowl. I mean, you name it, and he was there. But in private, they showed last night his conversations about the children, how easy the access is to be around all the children he wants.
Oh.
as parents, even though it's hard for us to hear and nobody likes to hear about this stuff, everybody needs to wake up because these kids need our help. And not just protecting your own children, but how many children out there need your help that aren't yours. Everybody needs to wake up. There's more of us than there is them. And it's happening right in front of our faces. This guy was paraded on the morning show, on every talk show, on Oprah Winfrey. He was paraded around everywhere. And every time they showed him talking to a big group, it was all children.
Oh my gosh. And I did not know that about him. I just remember him being the face of Subway for a really long time. And it almost seems like that is probably, it was put in place that he would be there because he was a pedophile. Because like, why would this just everyday guy get to be like this bazillionaire, the face of Subway?
I mean, he legitimately lost 245 pounds, but it just goes to show you that this guy looked like an average everyday guy.
Yeah.
Going, just nobody looking at him, even the people that knew him for many years, never knew about this dark side of him. And they had, the FBI, of course, was investigating him, and they showed all of the videotapes of him talking on the phone with a friend and then setting up, bragging about what he would do to little children over in Thailand when he would go.
Oh my God.
Boys and girls. It wasn't just, and it just makes your skin crawl. Now, times being the largest part of the largest industry, and then Disney being a big part of that as well. They have underground tunnels. Super Bowl, the Disneyland in Orlando, around Super Bowl time when it was out there, it was the largest known day of kids being swiped. So, people are distracted, adults are distracted. Everybody just has to wake up. Everybody's so caught up in things that really don't matter. And there's this whole dark world that we're all like got our blinders on because we don't like to talk about it or think about it. And it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger because people are too uncomfortable to talk about it. So even though you were the sweetest person I had ever met, I wanted you to know because you were just so pro Disney and telling you the truth, and not just telling you I wanted you to believe me, but I'm going to send you down this rabbit hole and this rabbit hole and go look for yourself. And as you're going to find more than even I told you. So
that's exactly right. And it's not just, if you want to believe something, it's really easy to just go, oh yeah, I always thought that guy was a creep. But if you really don't want to believe something and you have every bone in your body not wanting to accept it, but something in you, which is God, is saying, I want you to leave Disney behind. I already had that in my spirit that I was supposed to leave the company behind and not work for them. So already I had that tip off from God.
Right.
That like, even though, it would still be fun to go back and do a contract as a mom, I could run off and do a month over there, maybe take the kids. Why not? I was already feeling in my spirit that there was this huge, cloud over Disney that I wasn't to reopen myself to it. So when you started talking about this, I felt in my spirit that there was something here that I needed to know because I am a truth seeker and I've sacrificed many relationships in my life before this. I've sacrificed, I told you before, I was offered to get in the top 10 of American Idol. But when I found out that the show wasn't real and that they were just pretending that America had a vote, I said, no way, I'm not going on the show. So I've sacrificed things in my career for the truth. I want the truth. And so I was like, you know what? This was feeling like horrible and the last thing that I ever wanted to hear in my life. But it felt like, you know what? I'm feeling like these breadcrumbs that I'm looking at, they make sense because there are things when you watch a Disney movie that you think, why did they throw that in? Or is that really a good idea? Like to have like a beast and a girl together, like that's kind of disgusting if you really think about it. A child shouldn't really watch some of these things. Or like the outfit, say for instance, the Little Mermaid, like that's a very sexy outfit for little girls to be looking at. Like there are many things that because the music is so beautiful and it is so enchanting, there are things that in our spirits we feel like, is this really appropriate for kids? Like I still have my kids fast forward through many things. Emma doesn't watch too much Disney, but if she wants to watch something, I'll let her watch it, but we'll fast forward through a lot of parts, even though, I am just like, you know, it's probably okay if she watches it. It's like, I know that there are certain things that I'm just like, you know what, I'm not even going to let that into her subconscious mind because I know that there's other things going on there. So, you know, I feel like everybody wake up and follow your intuition. If something wasn't feeling right to you, look into it. There are many documentaries out there that are talking about this from multiple different kinds of sources. There's the guy who won, I believe it was Britain's Got Talent, one of those TV shows, and he did a 5-hour documentary on the Freemasons. And that is really worth digging into, the Freemasons, because that is where a lot of this is coming from, is the satanic rituals that happen at the high levels of Freemasons.
Well, the Freemasons, the 33rd degree Masons.
Exactly.
Well, club called it Disney. The VIP club was called the 33 Club. So, I mean, it's right in front of your faces. And if you look up how many executives of Disney have been prosecuted for being pedophiles, you're going to be shocked. There's a lot. And, you know, as it filters down into the employees, not every employee is going to know what's going on. The people at the top definitely know. And if you about it, everything about these Disney shows is sexualization of children. I mean, you've got to get a kiss from the prince to wake up. You know, you want this little girl thinking about getting kissed by the prince, you know, when they're little, you know, and everything from the outfits to the romance to everything. It's not something that you want, like you said, in their subconscious.
Exactly. And some of the things like with the evil in there are really dark. Like, I won't let Emma watch Snow White because, I mean, we're talking about actually bringing out the heart of a person. And that is so disgusting. And people say, oh, well, you know, the old ones were really good. No, they weren't. They had better music. I will say that as a musician. The artists are amazing. The animators, the people who are creating these. I'm not meaning any offense to the creators, but they were being used to cover up really horrible things that were going on behind the scenes. And we're going to have to take a quick break. You guys grab a deep breath. We're going to watch a commercial and we'll be right back. Thank you, Kim.
Attention visionaries and pioneers, the future of wealth is here, and it's spelled Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Introducing the exclusive Loans for Bitcoin program at the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where your good credit unlocks 0% interest loans for up to 2 years, or term loans up to $250,000 spread over 7 to 12 years. Why wait? Use this capital to acquire the world's fastest appreciating asset, Bitcoin. With prices hovering around 94,000 and projections aiming much higher by the year's end, the time to act is now. Leverage isn't just for Wall Street anymore. Arbitrage the low cost of your loan against Bitcoin's explosive growth. It's smart finance for the modern investor. And privacy matters. Our no KYC Bitcoin purchase program ensures you buy and self-custody your assets in your own wallet. Your keys, your Bitcoin, your future. And as the world shifts to digital currencies, be ahead of the curve. Front-run corporations, governments, in this greatest financial revolution of our times. I'm Jay Bose, CEO of Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club. Call or text us today at 941-413-6920 and get started on that loan application. Secure your legacy. You will thank yourself tomorrow.
Okay, and we're back here on Women's Voices. I'm Clara Bose. We have our beloved guest, Kim Couture, today, talking about a very difficult issue. But as you know, I've been spending a couple of my shows targeting the conversation of child trafficking because it is the nearest and dearest issue to my heart. It's what I want this world to be completely eradicated from. And so I want to help everyone see how deep this rabbit hole goes. It's not just about pornography or a small group of really slimy men somewhere. It's actually being hidden in plain sight. And my guest on our show today, Kim Couture, has done, how many hours of research do you think you've done about these kinds of topics?
I'm a crazy person. Like through COVID, I was doing like 11 to 14 hours a day. I didn't leave my room. I was stayed in my jammies all day. Like I was just digging because I hate liars and the fact that we've all been lied to. Everything's been a lie. And it's like the whole world is a spell and they don't even know it. And when you start to question things, people don't question or use their common sense or, like you said, God-given discernment. So when you start to think about some of these things and they just don't make sense, then you realize, oh my gosh, we've been lied to about everything. You start looking at every different topic and you're like, everything is a lie. You know, there was another show, I think it's still on Netflix. It's a series and it's called, I think, Sweet Tooth. Have you heard of it?
Mm-mm.
So it's a story about these babies that are born and they're like half dog, half boy, half deer, half boy, they're all half, they're transhumanism, you know, they're half everything. And it's all programming. People have to start asking themselves, why would they create a show like this? But they play on everybody's emotions. So just like in Bambi, they kill the mom right out the gate. You're devastated. You're so sad. And then you're sucked in and you're in the Disney bubble, right? So it's the same thing with all of these shows. They make these cute little adorable, obviously some of them are CGI. They're so cute. But when you start to think about it, because this is what they're doing in the underground tunnels, they have mad scientists down there for real, and they're mixing these DNAs and producing these children that are half this, half that. And these children are suffering. And imagine what that would feel like. You're born into a world underground, never seeing the light of day. And there's nobody else that looks like you because you're half frog and half boy and half pig and half girl. You know, and that's not even mainstream yet, but it's going to be out soon. And when people find out what's going on with that, they're not going to be able to handle it. And then you've supported a show like Sweet Tooth.
That's exactly right. And there's just like there was an agenda to normalize the transgender movement. I mean, that used to be so unusual. There would be a person, like 1 out of a million, and then they made that normalized and they started, you know, bringing that out into the mainstream. And now it's just like, now they wanted to get it into schools, and it still is in many cases. Of course, there's moms like us fighting that, or, you know, around the world. But that's the same thing that they're trying to do with bestiality. They're trying to make the sexualization of people and animals that like the next thing that's just like normal to talk about. So we have to recognize how things have changed. You know, I'm 45 years old, so I actually get the privilege of my age to look back and see what has happened, because I remember when those things were not talked about in the 90s. And now look where we are, to where it's like, oh yeah, they're trying to teach 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds about that in public schools.
Well, look at the drag queen story time.
Yeah, exactly. That used to be
wanting to be drag queens or wanting to be strippers, and it's like, why are people okay with this?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
When we were growing up, it was, there were like gay bars that it was like, that was some people's lifestyle, but it wasn't talked about. It wasn't in the mainstream. Then like Will and Grace started to bring that out like way into the mainstream and get everybody talking about as though that's just like the normal. Disney also has been having this agenda of breaking apart families for a very long time. The mother and father was hardly ever a part of a story. And if it was, they died. Name me a Disney movie that had a healthy family.
Right.
Why is that?
They targeted children because, of course, they're so susceptible, and start them young. You know, start them young so that when you get to an older age, you're watching Sweet Tooth on Netflix, you know, or, you know, Cuties. Remember when Cuties came out? People actually did get outraged about that. The little dancers. So that's what needs to keep happening is parents and people need to come together and have a voice. It's like everybody's so afraid to say something or talk about these difficult topics. But if we don't, then it's just going to grow. What's next? You know, if everybody stays silent, then we're just as guilty.
Please tell me that it's already gotten bad enough, because when I hear that our country is the #1 consumer of child trafficking in terms of the actual children and the pornography, are you kidding me? What in the heck is wrong with us? But it's because of what we're talking about right now. These things have become so normalized in our entertainment. I've completely shut all of it off. I don't subscribe to Disney anymore. I don't subscribe to Netflix anymore. We watch little things here and there that if we have a DVD, and like I said, we fast forward, but we really have gotten to a place where we're trying to limit the intake of this, because we do see for ourselves, not only that there are inappropriate things for kids, but that it's all coming from a place of pedophilia in the first place, and that they're trying to normalize that. I saw an interview with a guy once who said he had come from a family where that was how he was treated, and he was trying to tell people that that's normal, that is a healthy, loving relationship for children to be, sexualized by their parents. And he was like outraged that anybody would even question such a thing. And that's what they're trying to make normal in our society.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty scary. And even other countries, like I said, the consumers of what's going on in these other countries is Americans. And these are not people that you would ever think. Like, you could see a guy walk in and say, oh, well, that's a creep. But these are not creepy people. These are doctors and lawyers and Jared the Subway guy, and it's like, these are look very guy next door, your neighbor. They don't put it out there in front of you. But they're the biggest consumers of this. And, he had gotten one of his friends to put cameras up. He was married, and the wife had 2 daughters, and his friend had cameras up in all the rooms. And unbeknownst to them, they were taking videos of these teenage girls dressing, undressing, naked, doing whatever, and making films out of it. And, it's just, these girls grew up and were traumatized, of course, by this, but you just could never.
There's big money.
Yeah,
there's big money.
They had no idea. They loved their stepdad. They never saw it coming. And they were having so much fun because they were into money, and the stepdad, ran the foundation for Jared the Subway guy. And, all they were was excited. They had stuff to brag to their friends about. And meanwhile, their lives ultimately were ruined by all of this. So you've got to be careful with relatives, friends, neighbors, teachers. There's so many shows out there, documentaries talking about these teachers having these relationships with middle school and high school kids. And it's like, when is that like such a popular thing now too?
Exactly. And they want those stories to be out there so that they can kind of show kids, look, this is normal for teachers, to have a romantic relationship with a student. This is part of how, your mind starts to get used to it. And you know what? We really need to get back to, if something is immoral, it's okay to say it's immoral. It doesn't mean we hate you. It doesn't mean that you're the worst person in the world, but it's not God's design for many things that are just normal in our world. And we need to get back to our values. I see so many churches compromising their values. They don't want to tell anybody that lifestyles of different various kinds are wrong. They don't want to tell somebody that that's a sin or this is not. Look, I've been divorced. I know divorce is wrong. It's not something to promote. You need to be okay that it's like, look, I've made mistakes, but it doesn't mean that I need to promote the mistakes that I have made and say, hey, that's right. Everybody do whatever you want. Look, let's talk about things in terms of whether it's appropriate or not appropriate. We need to get back to good values and morals and not be afraid to say that a sin is a sin or something is wrong. It's immoral.
Well, and also I think parents need to do a better job these days of paying attention to what kids are looking at on their phones, not just the TVs, because the things that are coming up on TikTok and, what Snapchat, and thank God my kids are already grown, because I would not want to police and monitor all of this stuff. It's so hard to keep a grip on all of that. I don't envy this. Days.
I'm there. I've got a 6-year-old. I've got a 13-year-old. And I'm just like, let's just skip it. Like, let's not do Facebook. Let's not do social media, and then, we try to be careful with what comes in on YouTube. Text your friends, have relationships, bring your friends over. Let us all know each other, who's in the family. you know, the best you can, going to private schools. I mean, we do the best we can. We can't, you know, do everything, but at least knowing what the dangers are and being willing to face the truth, I think is the first half of our battle.
Well, I think the biggest thing that people need to keep in mind is the ones that are addicted to the TV and, you know, watching Disney. It's television. So they're telling you the vision that they want you to have. That's the whole purpose of the program, right? The programming. And even the names of it tell you exactly what they're trying to do to you. So just be aware and don't just blow over something that, you know, should be recognized as being wrong.
Exactly.
Episode, oh, it's just a movie. It's just a show. It's still going into your child's subconscious. So they're holding on to that, and it might come out later in their teenage years in a bad way that you don't want to deal with. So it's better to just protect them when they're young, because that's from 1 to 5 is when they're most impressionable. And that's usually the time that they're watching all the Disney movies. So
Exactly.
Or even worse. I mean, the cartoons back in our day were much better. I mean, the stuff that's on there now, I don't even know how anybody watches it. It's so terrible.
I know. And I just want to give our viewers a chance, if we can. One of them was called, one of the documentaries that really helped open my eyes and at least start getting me aware, you know, when I would watch a movie, of something to look out for. There are certain things in terms of certain shapes, there are certain hand signals, there are certain colors, things that they use to represent different things in the world of pedophilia. I think, was it called Shadow? Out of Shadows.
Out of Shadows. Yep.
That's really worth taking a look at, and it's very difficult, you know, just to warn you guys right now, if you do want to, you know, say, okay, let's see what some of these things they're talking about are. There's a good documentary called Out of the Shadows to look into as a first step. Then you can keep down the rabbit hole if you want to. And I also do recommend, just for your mentality, because I'm a very sensitive person, so is Kim. We're empaths. We cried for days. I do recommend taking things kind of in small pieces as you look for the truth, and getting in the Bible, getting in the mind of God. Give yourself time in nature. Give yourself time also away from it, because you can get so overloaded and so shocked and so basically terrified, like we were saying. So learn from our mistakes so that you don't have to go through living through nightmares every night or crying for months at a time. Take it in pieces, and then, you know, give yourself time in the Word of God. Sing positive songs. This is part of why I write beautiful songs and I write Bible verse songs, so that for the most part, I can keep my mind focused on God. But then I want to find out the truth of what's really going on in the world and how I can help. This is how we are warriors of light. I believe this is part of why we incarnated at this particular time in the world, to help uproot all of this, because we have the courage. We are women, and we are here to protect the children and future generations.
Yeah, you can't get through all of this, well, as many years as I've been doing it, research, without being close to God. I don't listen to mainstream music anymore. I'll listen to, I like listening to violin, Spanish guitar, piano, and I always have, you know, Christian podcasts on. I just don't listen to mainstream anymore. It really does hit a lot of walls where you just need to take a break, because you feel so helpless, and you can only imagine the fear and anxiety that these children have, that nobody's coming to save them. The ones that are stuck in all of the containers on cargo ships, the ones underground, the ones that are being sold into slavery in every other country. On that show last night, they talked about how going to Thailand, how you could pick any age you want, and the kids over there are taught how to do things. So if you get a 5 or 6 year old, they know how to do things already.
Yeah.
They're instructed to do that, and to know that Americans are the largest consumer of it, and it's the same way in many other countries. And a lot of those people, they have no other ways to make money, so they're selling their kids basically to put food on the table. And it's so tragic that the world, this day and age, with information at our fingertips, what are we spending our time learning about? People are so caught up in sports and celebrities and all
How we
this.
look.
Yeah. Well, they say vanity is the devil's favorite sin.
Yeah, I feel like most people are just, doing selfies all day long. Another person that I really want to recommend people checking out is Lara Logan. It's Lara Logan, Logan. I saw her live here when I moved to Florida, and I had seen her on some some of these shows and things that I was learning about with Kim. And she used to be in mainstream media, and she was not able to continue on 60 Minutes. She was an anchor for 60 Minutes, you guys. And now she's out there trying to fight this battle. She's been raped in the Middle East. I mean, this woman has been through hell, and she keeps fighting. She fights here in Florida with General Flynn. She's doing her own show. I saw a lady who was in the music industry. She was interviewed by Lara Logan. She was trafficked in the music industry, and she's telling her story now. She lives in Nashville, and she was literally raped every time before she went to do a concert.
Wow.
It started when she was 12.
Oh my gosh.
And they threatened her family's life. They said they'd kill her mom and her whole family if she ever said anything. So she endured that for, I believe, 6 years to save her family. Okay? Well, so this is not something that we're just like, wanting to believe bad things about people. No, I'm a musician, and I've been learning about this, and I can't believe the things people have endured, and their stories deserve to be heard.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of musicians and actors, all of the kids from the Mickey Mouse Club were all under MK Ultra. You could look into that. And the place where they would send them for MK Ultra was called Lincoln Park in Canada. Chester from the band, the lead singer from Lincoln Park, was also put through MK Ultra. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. And he was brought up and put through school through a grant from the Clinton Foundation. He found out at an older age and suffered from depression his whole life. And he, like Epstein, did not kill himself. He's actually the son of John Podesta, who was Hillary Clinton's right hand. And that's a whole nother rabbit hole you could spend a lot of time on. And if you look at the FBI symbols for pedophilia, Lincoln Park's logo was that pedophilia symbol X'd out, like with a cross through it, like crossing it out. So there's a lot of connections there in plain sight. When you go down that rabbit hole, you're like, oh my gosh, it was right there in front of us the whole time. But I do want to say people can go on Rumble and look up Out of Shadows. Another good one is the series for Fall of the Cabal. There's probably 30 of them. And definitely start at number 1 and work your way through. It goes through every topic that we're talking about and then some. It talks about everything. Very well narrated. You need to do that too. Go on Rumble. Do one a week, do one a night. I don't care, but definitely get them in.
I can't do one a night. It's going to take me years to get through it. I'll just have nightmares forever. But you're right. I mean, it's important for people to know. It's very important because this is the world that we live in. It's been hiding in plain sight, and it's so important.
And knowledge is power, and nothing's going to be done to stop it until the knowledge is spread, and then us sticking together to stop it. That's the power that we have.
That's right. It's like Liz Crokin. She lost her job in mainstream media because she was trying to investigate about Pizzagate, and they just wouldn't let it go. And you guys, any of these topics, if you look it up, the first thing it will say under Wikipedia is debunked theory about this, debunked theory about that. They'll always put the very first thing that it's been debunked. It is absolutely, you can fact check it. Oh yeah, go to fact checkers, you guys. That'll really show you what's true.
Well, when you look at everybody that controls everything, who controls Twitter, who controls, Wikipedia, and who like all of them, they're all linked together. They're all in the same boat together. So all the fact checkers, all the executives at Disney, all of the people that run everything, they're either related, married to each other. It's one big spider web. and they've woven it very strategically. Another show that I can recommend for people that really want to dive into this stuff is The Reveal Report. Go on YouTube and type in The Reveal Report. The guy is out of Canada. He has great guests on there. And he talks about how he was in the cult and he moved to LA and he was trying to do the whole Hollywood thing. And he got into cult activity and magic was working. And he started making money and making connections and getting jobs. And until he got so deep that he actually realized and met the devil that it was real. And he was kind of an atheist. And it made him realize, it made him actually run to God because it scared him so deeply to his core. And now he kind of does this show based around his experiences and telling people, listen, all these people are worshiping Satan. And there's different, like I think I told you before, there's different gods of Satan, you know, so there's Baal and Moloch and Baphomet, and there's others, but depending on which ones they follow, there's all these different groups, like the Masons, the Freemasons. There's many different ones. So depending on what clique they're in, that's whoever they worship and whatever they're studying. If we're Christians and we're praying to God, some people go once a week to church and they're praying just on Sundays. These people that are in these satanic cults are doing it 18 hours out of the day. Okay. It's nonstop. Like they wake up at 3 a.m. There's some significance to waking up at 3 a.m. and doing spells and doing all this stuff. There's a satanic calendar. You can look that up too. And the satanic calendar, it tells you on certain days, you have to do certain things. You have to sacrifice an animal. You have to sacrifice a child. You have to do this and do that. And
like they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. That was satanic sacrifice.
Yeah. There's a whole calendar. This is a very in-depth thing. And it's more common than you would ever know, ever know.
You never would. And we have to start really doing our part. You know, there's a reason why energetically we're called to pray and fast, because in the worlds of energy, and I get, you know, so frustrated that there's this concept of, oh, there is no evil. Well, wouldn't the evil players in the game love for this world to think that there is no evil and that there is no duality? Now, in God, in the kingdom of God, there is no duality. There is nothing but perfection. But in this world, the design of this world, there is good and evil. It's the game we're all in. Like it or not, we're here to play. And we need to be very clear that there is light and there is dark. And the dark guys are working really hard for their to reign in this world, to have the power.
I have another tidbit for you.
Okay. So, and then after this, we'll have to let you go. I just got the sign that we're almost out of time, but yeah, after this one, we'll let you go.
So every time that there's a company takeover, you have to look who owns that company. There's always a company above. So Disney is behind buying the new Bible. And what they've taken out of the Bible is the phrase fast and pray. It's that powerful that they've removed it.
Correct. I know it is. So I know it is, because that's all energy. As soon as we're pure from within, look at the power that we have to command. We have the power over the angels to command them and to come and tell us what we need. But if we're so distracted and letting everybody else run the show, we're missing out on our God-given power as sons and daughters of God.
Well, the point that Jesus was trying to make was teaching us how to ascend and teach how to activate. We're made in God's image. So how to activate the powers of God, you know?
Yes, exactly.
But people lost that message somewhere along in the journey, you know, and, you know, we have a lot more power than we think, but we're only using, 3 to 6% of our brains. Yeah. So imagine if we weren't so corroded inside with our food and chemicals and sky spraying and all this stuff. You know, if we could reactivate our pineal gland, we would have all access to all those powers.
Exactly. And we are going to have you back, because I could talk to you till the end of time, and I really want to. So I hope you'll come back time and time again. Our listeners really, I'm sure, are very interested in the work that you've done. I thank you so much for all of your sacrifice of time. And, if people saying that you're crazy, but now look what's coming out, here we've got Diddy's trial, and you were talking about him 10 years ago. So Kim, I love you. Thank you so much. And hopefully, will you come back soon?
Anytime. I love you.
Love you too. Thank you so much. And for everyone at home, you guys, thanks for having the courage to dig into these topics with us. Don't ever be afraid. The light of God is with us, on our side. And if God is for us, who can be against us? Let's do one more song just so we can leave on a note of beauty.
Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. Arise, arise, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen. He's risen. He's risen. He's risen upon
Thank you so much. See you next week. I'm Clara Bose. This is Women's Voices.
Are you buying and selling cryptos on the same laptop that you're using to browse the internet, read your email, and visit social media sites? If so, you're exposing your cryptos to theft. Whenever you're online, you're at risk of getting hacked and having your identity stolen. How would you feel if someone stole all of your cryptos? What would that do to your finances? Guard your cryptos with a safe and secure laptop from CALIX Solutions. Each laptop is set up just for you and your cryptos, and then we walk you through exactly how it works. Don't risk the security of your cryptos. Order a crypto laptop from CALIX Solutions now to secure your crypto future. Learn more at calixsolutions.io.